Hello lovely humans, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a few things that I've picked up for our Thanksgiving table this year. This is the first time I have not just hodgepodge things together. Things left over from wedding styled shoots to actual weddings. This is like the adulty Thanksgiving I've ever had in my entire life, because not only did I actually buy chafing dishes, chafing if you're fancy, because we host every year and like now's the time. Not only did I buy 4 of those, which felt like a really big mid-30s move, but I also bought things for my Thanksgiving tabletop, and I'm just really excited. You know when you get something cute from a store and you just want to share it with a friend? That's what this is for me right here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my Thanksgiving decor haul with you that I purchased intentionally in these tones so I could use it for Christmas, for any sort of spring holidays, etc., 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 because I just think these colors are absolutely timeless. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. Now, as a quick aside, please do not feel the need to purchase any of the things that I have linked down below. My sincerest hope in all of this is that this inspires you to use things you already have in your own home. And you're like, Jamie, that's rich coming from someone who just spent $1 bajillion buying stuff for a tablescape. I know, hear me out. But we have made beautiful tablescapes for years without purchasing anything brand new, and you can do it too. But if you feel so inspired to grab some of these because they are really stinking cute, I will be linking my Amazon affiliate links down below. It's not going to cost you anything extra, but I might make a little bit something out of the exchange because I honestly make like $3 a month off of Amazon. So it's kind of like a drop in the bucket. So feel free to use the links if you feel like it. Now, to kick things off, I have nails on, so I'm feeling very sassy with my movements. What are we starting with? I figured I'm just going to kind of show you everything we're going to have on our tabletop as a whole. And a few of them are vintage and or antique pieces or sourced somewhere other than Amazon, but I'm going to show you anyways so you can kind of get a full picture of what we've got going on. So it's a haul / decorate with me. That sounds about right. First and foremost, the least splurgy splurge. These are glass plates from Dollar Tree. They are awesome. I think they're $1.25. But I use these for so many different occasions. I actually had about 12 of them purchased from a styled shoot that we did forever ago. I was obsessed with this one, and I use these gorgeous like rose gold chargers, and I've used them for years on my tablescape, but I'm gonna be totally honest, I actually really don't like them. So this year, I'm just going for a clear plate at everyone's seat, just because I don't know. I think I would like to get chargers for them eventually, but that's a splurge that maybe I'll make in another year following. So that's gonna be at each person's seat. Place setting. Next, these are brand new, and I'm actually really excited about these. I'm glad I tested these out at Friendsgiving because I was a little bit hesitant about them, but now I have nothing but positive things to say about them. And that is these cheesecloth napkins. Obviously, y'all know I plan weddings, right? And cheesecloth napkins, I would poo-poo on those bad boys constantly. I'm like, how is cheesecloth, like I also make cheese from our goat's milk, like how is cheesecloth going to be effective at cleaning anything, right? And they are not the most absorbent things on the planet. However, I was shocked by how well these worked. A cheesecloth is often defined by its weave and how close the fibers are together. So I know you can see through this completely, but these worked great. Like I was genuinely surprised, and I will stop poo-pooing on these in the future because they ended up working out really nicely. So I selected these because your girl likes green. They came a little bit more huntery than emerald, but that actually ended up being a really good thing as far as the tablescape is concerned. They have a finished hem on all 4 sides, so it doesn't have that torn look that so many people do appreciate about like a raw hem cheesecloth. But this I prefer because this means it's going to be more durable. I have washed them. They did not leak onto anything in the wash. They did not stain, and they maintain their color really nicely. What I love about these is I like the crinkle texture as it drapes over the table edge. I also like that you can easily do some sort of napkin ring style. I chose not to do napkin rings this year. I'm probably gonna like slowly keep adding to my repertoire for those. I had my eye on a few, but I just decided this is a lot of purchasing for, fancy holiday setup. So I'm gonna leave it at this for this year, but I do have my eyes on like either a sleek version or bumblebees. The bumblebees are so freaking cute. I can't. I love that it maintains its wrinkly texture. I actually prefer that because then, one, I don't have to worry about ironing, right? And two, it adds an unexpected touch of something to the tabletop where everything else really feels smooth, especially in contrast with the glass plates. Yeah, I just think it works super well. The next thing I purchased, all right, I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. I am kicking myself. I had hundreds of colored goblets when I lived in California. Hundreds, like I think 250 of them. So many of them. I sourced them, I thrifted them, like I went on Etsy, I got them all for one specific wedding and they were stunning. Stunning. I even had like the crates to put them in. But as we're getting ready to move, I'm like, I'm never gonna use these again. I am never gonna use these again. This is silly. I don't like doing rentals for weddings. Like I'm just gonna sell them. And I sold them all to like one very lucky couple who was looking for exactly that. I had the perfect amount of goblets for them. It was great. And I only moved with these, which are, I forget what these are called, but these are my favorite wine glasses of all time. They're sturdy, they're thick. We've lost a handful of them, and which makes me super sad. But look at the beaded detailing on this. Just so cute. So as I'm looking at all these different tablescapes on Pinterest for like inspiration, or pinspiration if you will, so many of them had colored goblets, and I thought, okay, what if I just invested in a handful of them for my tabletops moving forward? So I did. So I ended up getting 2 different colored goblets, 3 different styles. Let me show you. To keep the amber theme going, I selected these. The fluted edge to them is super fun. It has a little bit of like a regal effect, and I like that it was a slightly different amber tone. You can see this one's a little bit warmer. This one's a little bit more yellow, but still complement one another. I am not used to drinking out of fluted glasses though, and I kept kind of spilling as I was drinking. But it's got a great weight to it, and that was something that was really important to me because as I decorate for these holidays, I don't want the kids to feel like they can't use the fancy things, right? I buy the fancy things so we can use them. This might not be an everyday glass for the kids, but on those special occasions where we do pull these out, I want them to feel comfortable enough to use them and not have to treat them like really fragile glass. So you can see it's got a pretty decent lip to it, a pretty decent thickness, which means I can trust it in little kiddo hands, and they can feel so big and so fancy just like the adults. The other color I got is, no one's surprised, more green, but I got 2 different styles. I got this one. Again, we've got a really thick lip, so it's safe for kiddos to use, it's still glass, let's be honest, but they can feel big and fancy. I like the tone of this, and you can see as we're like kind of building this out, this is a little bit more yellow, and this is a little bit more of that hunter green. But when they're separated just a touch from each other, I think they work just fine. So now we've got these textures that we're building. And if y'all have been around for a minute, you know I love building with textures, right? I like glass, I like wood, I like some sort of greenery, some sort of floral, and then some sort of metal element. So keep those in mind as I'm building up this tablescape with you. So I got 6 of those. I also got 6 of those amber ones. And then I got 6 of these. I know like ribbed glassware is all the rage right now, but this to me is timeless. Like a lot of them are like squared off, which is cool and modern and vibey. This I just want to drink water out of. This makes me feel like an it girl. This makes me feel like it's a queen's goblet, okay? And I know the other ones are fancier, but this one is just so pretty. Again, we've got that really thick lip, which is fantastic. And a pretty sturdy base. We don't have time for dainty glassware in this house. One of my kids literally broke one of my normal wine glasses yesterday, okay? And it was one of my teenagers. Stuff happens. We live here. So, like this. Love this for us. In fact, one thing I was pretty specific about when hunting for these goblets is to make sure that they are dishwasher safe. And they all are. They've all been through and they came out sparkling clean, totally fine. Because sometimes companies will actually paint the cups instead of the glass truly being colored. So you want to be watchful of that, which I was less watchful of when it came to the water cups. But I think when you see what I'm talking about, you'll understand why. Sticking with the amber and green theme, I picked up an 8-pack of these that I will be returning because 4 of them came shattered. So I'm super bummed because look how cute this little floral design is. Like these would be so great for everyday use. I think these are dishwasher safe. I'm pretty sure they are, but it's got a really cute pattern to it with the dots and the ribbing and the flowers. So the concept here was that every amber goblet would get like a green or a different colored cup next to it. So we could kind of keep building up a color palette this way. But unfortunately, I will have to be sourcing different green ones. I will still link it down below because I do love the cups. I love them. I think they're gorgeous, but you just risk getting some broken ones in the mail, unfortunately. Again, building up the color palette, I got these. And these, I broke my rule. I broke my dishwasher safe only rule because these are just so, they're so cute. Look at this. I mean, they are so fun to hold. They're like a very, is that ASMR or what? It's a very tactile experience. I enjoy them. And again, timeless, stunning, building the color palette. Just a super, super obnoxious point that these are hand wash only. I don't think they're painted. They don't appear to have any sort of film to them, but I loved them so much that I got them in 2 colors. Okay, look at this cranberry tone though. So what I love about this is when you see the rest of the tablescape, you'll see why this like cranberry reddish tone totally works, but these will be perfect for Christmas as well. So at every single place setting, I'm gonna have 1 green and red or 1 green and amber. So you can see how this would work really nicely kind of for multiple holidays. And then for spring holidays, I would just remove the cranberry tone and not use that at all. But so flipping cute. Look at it next to this. Look at that. Now moving towards the center of the tablescape in general. Hold on, I gotta get that. These are the Garland. They are all the rage. Look at these. Look at it. These are from Floral. However, I have it on good authority that the ones from Kirkland are almost the same exact thing, if not identical. So I'll link the Floral ones down below because I don't know if I can link them from Kirkland. But I know what you're thinking. You're like, Jamie, this is Thanksgiving. Listen, a lot of people are starting to do crossover decor, and this really vibes for me. I like the green down the center. It ties in with everything else I've got going on. And because I've got 2 of these 5-footers, I can overlap them a little bit in the middle, and they go perfectly down the center of my 8-foot table. And I just love how realistic this looks. It's just so pretty. That way I don't have to worry about or fuss with any sort of real florals or greenery. Although you know your girl loves them. This makes my life so much easier and still ties in that natural element that I really crave when I'm designing a tablescape. Plus, bonus points for those who decorate for Christmas early. You can still kind of maintain that vibe with your tablescape for Thanksgiving by doing that subtle blending. We've done this now 2 years in a row, I think, maybe 3, where we've used those and maybe had a Christmas tree up, but also had pumpkins. In fact, last year we had a tree up with pumpkins underneath it. Just that gorgeous, like delicious crossing of textures. There's the word again. Okay, next up, we've already covered quite a few of the elements. We've got glass, we've got fabric, we've got some of that natural element, but I wanted more than just the greenery down the middle of the table. And I wanted to incorporate more of the amber and the cranberry tone in the centerpiece as well. And that's where I got these. First of all, this pair is perfection. Look it. Look it. It's very Harry and David, if you know what I mean. Like just... She's bougie, right? So wait, then you got this, but you have it next to the, and how they complement one another, but we carry the palette and it's like a slightly different tone. The only thing I don't love about these is they're actually coming across a lot shinier on camera than they are in person. I wish they were a touch more matte, just a touch. But let's see if we can get a close-up on this. But if you can see, it's got like speckling in it. So it looks hyper realistic. I just wish it wasn't as shiny. So I kind of want to figure out what to do to mattify it just a touch. Even the little stem is cute. And the pomegranate. This one is not as bright in person as it's showing up on camera. I searched quite a bit for these. I, again, think that these are a little too shiny, translating more shiny on camera than they are in person, but I love the realism of like the stem, the base of whatever, and then the little crown on top. I would like to go through and kind of darken it up just a touch, like maybe dip the brush in a light brown and do some stippling on it. Like you can see the entire reflection of the window behind it. I think they would look a lot more realistic if I just like mattified them a little bit and added a little bit of a different tone. There's a little bit of discoloration right here that adds to that realism, but I want more of that on it. And again, it has some speckling like the pear to add to that realistic look. I was 100% down to put real pomegranates down the center of my table because I love them, and I honestly think it's really hard to replicate real fruit with faux fruit. But they were like $6 each. No, not in this economy. No, thank you. And then the last element that I want to incorporate has been all of the rage for the last, I don't know, what, 3 years? Maybe, no, longer. And that is Dwight. It's Dwight oranges. I actually tossed these bad boys in my dehydrator forever ago. And have had them sitting in a jar. We've used them as garnishes for old fashions. We've used them, I think, for desserts. But today, or for Thanksgiving, and Friendsgiving, and maybe even Christmas, we are going to be using them as a part of the tablescape. Because right now we've got the long, thick texture of the garland and then the decent size of the fruit, but we needed one smaller element to really kind of round out the trio of shapes and sizes we had going on. So we've got the garland, the pomegranate, and the pear, and now we've got this little dainty, almost stained glass looking dried orange, and Lord knows I have a ton of them. Also going down the center of my tablescape, these I got from an antique shop, but I did find them on Amazon. I think that this is like one of those hostessing moves where I'm like, I'm an adult. And you might relate or you might not. You might think I'm absolutely crazy, but like mini salt and pepper shakers. Just sporadically put down the table so they like complement and like nestle into the decor. You know, you're like, oh, is that salt and pepper hidden in the greenery in the woods? Yes. And you don't have to ask anyone past it because it's right in front of you. It's like you Miyagi your guests. Oh, you want salt and pepper? It's right in front of you. I thought ahead. I knew you would want it. It's right there. So I think I ended up getting like 22 of these total, but I'm going to share a link that has 24 of them for $20. It's so nice. I love having them on hand. And this was my first proper holiday using them. And they just bring me joy. The next one, I can't link it for you at all, but I just needed to share with somebody. Okay. So again, we've covered glass, fabric, wood, natural. We are missing metal. My husband laughed at me when these came in. I follow this antique shop on Instagram, and she shared these, and immediately I was like, mine. Look it. So they are salt and pepper shakers. In fact, one of you messaged me on Instagram saying that you had the same ones, but yours were like cute and polished. Mine are patinaed, and they've seen some things. But they've got little delicate feet. Their little crests have the holes in them for the salt and pepper, and then they've got these elegant tails, and I just love them. So I'm sorry I can't link these. But I'm not sorry for sharing them. Because again, we're building inspiration. I'm not just trying to get you to buy stuff. We're inspiring. Moving along with the things I can't link, but hopefully will inspire you. More metal. We need more of that element to really kind of round things out. And that is where all of these brass candlesticks that I've been thrifting for eons come into play. I have a ton of these. In fact, it's because I think someone just recently had a wedding and like dumped all of them at Goodwill. They didn't even bother like trying to sell them afterwards. They're like, no ma'am. So I still have a bunch that have the price tags on them because I'm the worst at taking price tags off things. There's like stuff in my house that's had price tags on things for probably years. I'm sure it drives my husband nuts. But with enough of these kind of going down the center, now we're drawing the eye up. We've created a rich base with the texture of that garland. Now we're drawing the eye up and having various levels with different candle heights and candlestick heights. Because sometimes I also like to host outside, I wanted to invest in some battery operated candles. It's not that I don't love real candles. I love them. But sometimes it just doesn't make sense, especially if you're trying to host outside. So these I have now had for a year plus, but I just ordered a second pack of 8. I think it's like $40 for an 8-pack. But again, right now, if you're watching this when it came out, the Amazon Black Friday sale is starting early, so I don't know if these are going to be any cheaper. I will link them below. I love the realistic flicker. I love the tone of them. We use them for, I'm staring because we still have them hung up from our Harry Potter night. And the texture of the wax itself, it's not smooth. It's kind of dimpled, which is fantastic. I actually really like that. But this is the kind of thing that you have to be careful storing in your garage, especially when you live in a hot climate, because these are actual wax. And I've had battery operated candles before, left them in my garage and came back to a melty, puddly mess. But having those down the center, now I have 3 heights going on. Well, 3-ish heights. We've got the ground level with the greenery and the plates, the mid-level with the cups and the goblets, and the tall level with the candles. So I love decorating in trios of height, and we fulfilled a new texture by adding in this wax material. You know what I'm saying? Moving on to the kids' table, I keep it as almost as identical to the adults' table as possible, especially because like my 14-year-olds sit there now. They don't want to feel like they're at the kids' table, even though they are. They want to still feel like they're a part of the festivities. And like I said earlier, I want them to use the things that we've purchased. I want them, like, there's a reason you buy the nice china. There's a reason you buy the nice cups. It's to use it. It's to live with it. So I got those for their table. I also have a cedar garland that I use on that one instead of this one because I only have so much of the Norfolk pine one. But I also like to lay down butcher paper. This is my hack to end all hacks. If you have children coming over for a holiday or for any reason whatsoever, this we came up with, I don't even know how many years ago. I probably saw it from someone else smarter than me, but I bought a roll of butcher paper and we will actually put it over the top of our table. And we'll do this whenever we are decorating gingerbread houses, which reminds me I have to go buy gingerbread houses. We always do it with the cousins. We have to do it this year at Thanksgiving, and that's in a week. Crud. Okay, so we put the butcher paper down, we tape it down, and the reason for that is twofold. One, because it's a super easy cleanup. That way we don't have to worry about the kids making a mess. They could just be children, right? Again, let's just embrace them being the kids that they are. Two, that means they can color on it, which is a huge hit. Have you ever been to Macaroni Grill? You know, when they have like the paper on top and the server writes their name upside down? How cool is that? That is the experience I want the kids to be having, so they can draw around their plates. Or at Friendsgiving, the moms actually wrote the kids' names next to their plates so they knew exactly where to go sit afterwards. It's just such a cute, fun, interactive way of just, again, adding another texture to the experience and making it interactive for the kiddos as well. I like to level it up a little bit though, and this is, again, something I cannot link, but these are something called pitch pots. Y'all know I used to work for a wholesaler who did interior design stuff, and this is something that I purchased years and years ago. And they are like slightly unstable, which I think adds to their character, but we will put crayons in these and place them down the center of the table. This is another way that I sneak that metal element into the kids' table. I've also put candles in these in the past, so if you do see pitch pots when you're out antiquing or thrifting or whatnot, snag them. They're so multifaceted. I actually love the inside of this because it has so much texture and so much life. So when there's a tea light in it, it just glows and kind of reflects off of all that. Because see all that white and that patina? Just stunning. But we toss crayons in these for the kids' table, and it is a hit. I think I have a total of like 8 of them, but I think we only really use like 5 or 6 for the kids' table. All right, last but most certainly not least, the few things that I'm adding to my charcuterie genre this year are some labels, because I had some before, but they were like super cheapy chalkboard ones, and I was not a huge fan. And I didn't move with them. I got rid of them because I felt like I just didn't love them. And so it's been a couple years since I've had any form of label for our cheese boards. And like I've said 72 times in this video already, I'm always trying to incorporate texture. So these ones are probably more disposable than the other ones that I purchased, but I got little paper flags, that craft brown paper that will kind of like pull in the kids' table and introduces that paper texture to the charcuterie as well. Because the boards that I have are marble, wood, and slate. So this, again, is just kind of varying it up and making it more a textural experience, visual, textural. For your eyeballs. And I also got, these were a little bit more spendy than the paper ones. However, I think they were completely worth it. And they're actually meant for the garden, but I don't care. I got little slate markers. Look how cute. Just like shove that into a chunk of cheese. They're beefy. They're beefy and they're glorious. And I just think that they will look so charming atop some of the cheeses. So these are definitely reusable and came in a pack of 10. And because I already have a slate cheese board, I can put these on some of the wood ones. And again, we're just like weaving this experience all together by putting the notes of other textures in different places. How many times have I said textures in this video? And then last but most certainly not least, these are actually not new to me, but I am now using them in a new capacity. And I'm going to toss a picture of them up because I can't seem to find them at the moment. It's these little pumpkins that are intended to be name tags. But are you picking up what I'm laying down? Because they're gold, they kind of pull in that brassy tone, right? They add that metal element, even though it's like a metallic finish, it's not actual metal, to the charcuterie boards. And it gives me the opportunity to incorporate maybe another color or another texture by placing a piece of paper in there, labeling whatever that cheese is. And usually when I put charcuterie together, I limit it to marking the cheeses and not everything on there, because then I think it gets to be a little too busy. But enough talk. It's time to put it all together. One of the reasons I'm obsessed with this garland is because the wiring in each of the fronds makes it so easy to manipulate and get a lot more height out of them, thereby making it look a lot fuller. Using the full variety of heights of brass candlesticks that I have, I'm able to kind of make the eye dance across the candle tops. And then I take all the cutie little fruits and nestle them on into the greenery so it looks as if they're growing out of the boughs. Not to be confused with the bowels. And sporadically place a lot of those dried oranges all over the place, sometimes doubling them up. See what I mean about these cutie little salt and pepper shakers? Oh, they just nestle in there so nicely. I will say that the plate and napkin feel like a tish bit lacking for me. I may go back and make some name tags for everybody, but seeing as I only have a couple days left, I might just leave it as is. But the glassware really cinches the whole deal for me. Let's take a look at it all together. So that is all we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are interested, I'm going to link as much as I can down below. Again, don't feel the need to purchase any of this. Please take this as a reason to be inspired and try something different on your own. Incorporate a new texture. Use that layering game to create height on your table. You got the flat surface, the middle surface, the tall surface. Incorporate metals, something natural, something wood, something glass, or you could try something quirky like slate or faux fruit by layering with, I wish there was another word. By layering with textures instead of just literal colors, you can build up the palette of your tablescape phenomenally, and this is it's one of my favorite ways to design, both for events and in my own home. So I hope you guys liked it. Let me know what your favorite piece was down in the comments below. I think I am torn between the pheasants and the glasses, like the cup. These are just, they makes me so happy. Or the napkins. Look at it. And are you hosting Thanksgiving this year? Are you going somewhere else? Let me know down below. And until next time, bye guys.